The gavel slammed against the wooden block, echoing through the packed courtroom. Case number 472, Williams versus Williams. I sat there, frozen, my own last name against me. Across the aisle, my parents, my mom and dad, stared straight ahead, their faces stiff with a coldness I had never seen before. They wouldn't even look at me. The judge's voice cut through my racing thoughts. This case concerns the disputed ownership of the property located at 192 Maple Lane. 192 Maple Lane. The house I had built with my own two hands. The house I thought would finally be my safe place after a lifetime of scraping by. And now my parents wanted to take it away. The courtroom lights fell hotter. The whispers behind me grew louder. Everyone was here to watch the scandal. A daughter being sued by her own family. And I knew, by the end of this hearing, my entire life could be destroyed. 2 years earlier, things were different. I was 27, juggling 2 jobs, mornings at a diner, nights cleaning offices. Every paycheck was split 3 ways. Rent for my tiny apartment, bills, and a little savings I guarded like treasure. Growing up, I had never known stability. My parents lived paycheck to paycheck, moving from one rental to another whenever the bills piled up. I told myself I'd break that cycle. Owning a home became my obsession. Not a mansion, not even a big suburban dream. Just mine, for walls no one could take from me. So when I found a small, beat-up plot of land on the edge of town, I saw potential. The seller was desperate. I got it for a price so low it almost felt like fate. I didn't hire contractors. I couldn't afford them. Instead, I spent months watching YouTube tutorials, borrowing tools from coworkers, and working on the land every weekend. Neighbors would pass by, curious. Some laughed. One even said, "Sweetheart, you can't build a house by yourself." But I could, and I did. Every nail I hammered, every plank I laid. It felt like proof I was finally building my future. When it was done, it wasn't perfect. The paint was uneven, the stairs creaked, and the roof had a stubborn leak. But it was mine. When I first showed my parents the house, they seemed proud. My mom even hugged me and said, "You're the first in our family to own something real." But slowly, things started to change. My parents began visiting often, too often. They'd bring little My parents began visiting often, too often. They'd bring little improvements, a couch here, some curtains there, but always with this air like they were making it better. Then came the comments. You know, if this was our place, we'd do the kitchen differently. Or, we should think about expanding the yard. I brushed it off. They were my parents. Surely, they were just excited. I didn't see the storm coming. One afternoon, I came home to find a real estate agent in my driveway with my parents. "Oh, just showing him around," my dad laughed. "Showing him what?" I demanded. They exchanged a look, the kind that said they'd already decided something without me. "Sweetie, this is our family property," my mom said carefully. "We were thinking of selling it to help with, well, our retirement." My heart dropped. "Your property? I bought this land. I built this house." My dad's voice hardened. "With money we helped you with." Helped? The $200 they'd given me once for groceries? That was their claim? It didn't stop there. A week later, I got a letter in the mail from their lawyer. It said my parents were filing a lawsuit, claiming joint ownership of the house because they had contributed significantly to its construction. The significant contributions they listed: the couch, the curtains, and that $200. I laughed at first. It was so ridiculous, it couldn't be real. But the court date came fast, and suddenly it was real. The town was small. Gossip spread like wildfire. At the diner, customers whispered about me. At night, cleaning offices, I overheard coworkers saying, "Can you believe her own parents are suing her?" Then came the worst part, running into my parents at the grocery store. They didn't smile. They didn't say hi. My own mother walked right past me like I was a stranger. It was like I'd been erased from their family. The day of the hearing, the courtroom was full. My parents sat on one side with their lawyer, a sharp, smug man in an expensive suit. I sat alone with the public defender I could barely afford. The lawyer painted a picture of selfless parents who had poured their savings into helping their struggling daughter, only for her to cut them out of what was rightfully theirs. It was all lies, but they were lies told well. When it was my turn, My hand shook as I explained how I'd bought the land, how I'd worked double shifts for years, how every board and nail was my own sweat. Just when I thought I was losing, my lawyer pulled out something unexpected, a series of dated receipts and photos I had kept without thinking much of it. There I was, covered in paint, hammer in hand, months before my parents had even set foot on the property. And then came the killer evidence. The original property deed with only my name on it. The courtroom went silent. My parents' lawyer's smirk vanished. The judge cleared her throat. This court finds that the property at 192 Maple Lane is the sole legal possession of the defendant, Ms. Williams. I had won, but when I looked over at my parents, there was no relief, no smile, only cold, hard resentment. They stood, turned their backs, and walked out. I still live in that house. The stairs still creak. The roof still leaks when it rains. But every sound is a reminder that I fought for this place. People ask if I regret taking my parents to court. I tell them the truth. I didn't take them to court. They took me. And I learned something the hard way. Blood might make you family, but loyalty? That makes you home.